Fox Business alerts stocks sinking in reaction to the Congressional Supercommittee's failure to come up with a deficit-cutting deal. But if the sell-off continues, could Wall Street be the catalyst that actually forces Congress to finally agree to slash red ink? Remember this scene from the financial crisis? Stocks slammed when the first TARP vote failed. Very quickly after that, TARP did become law. To our power players now, Lenore, Hawkins, Gary B. Smith, and Jason Schenker. Gary B., we just had a historian say that's exactly what we need, the stocks to send a message to Washington. What do you think?
I would take the opposite approach. Boy, I hope they don't rush into anything. I guess we're maybe past the point of rushing into something, but I hope nothing happens because of what the stock market did. I mean, you gave a great example. I'm kind of wishing TARP, didn't happen because of the stock market crash that you referenced. I wish that wasn't a catalyst. I hope it wasn't. I suppose it was, though. I think the best thing that can happen right now, to be honest with you, is nothing, because I think any consensus they come to will be absolutely terrible.
Well, Lenore, the fact is that we had word that they were going to come to a deal, and that's one of the reasons the market tanked. So it does affect the market.
Oh, I think Congress has set up for themselves an absolutely impossible task. The problem being that the majority in D.C. have fundamentally flawed base premise. They believe that government is morally obligated to provide a vast array of services to Americans, and they also believe that the majority of our current social problems and financial problems will only be solved with additional government spending. Now, if you hold those two premises to be true, then you cannot possibly agree to cutting our debt.
So, Jason, I don't see a way out, do you?
No, there's no easy way out of this situation. The truth is, at the end of the day, this is something, a can we kicked down the road a number of months ago, and at this point, the push and pull of it, we're very unlikely to get an easy resolution. I think people saw that today. They came in, and the market sold off very hard as people realized, and this is something that we have very little control over. It's not something you can model like any kind of economic data, and traders decided to take money off the table and take a step back as they go into the holiday week.
Well, Gary B., what is focusing the minds of the folks in Europe right now are those high interest rates in places like Italy and France and certainly Spain. I mean, is it going to take that? I think we're going to have to see something happen in our economy before these guys work, more than just the market going down a bit.
Absolutely. If you're a congressman or senator, it feels kind of like you can, hate to use the overused expression, kick the can down the road. It feels like, okay, well, somehow we'll get out of it. There'll be another internet or something, and, the money will come flooding back into the coffers because, everyone will be making a lot of money. But I think you're absolutely right. And I think, as one of your guests said in an earlier segment, unless our back is to the wall, kind of like what Canada experienced a few years ago, nothing's going to happen.
Well, and Lenore, remember, the market went down. The Dow went down from about 14,000 when we were riding high, all the way down to about 6,000 or 7,000. So it was cut in half. We're nowhere near that right now, as the Dow's hovering around between 11,000 and 12,000. So it's got a way to drop before our mind gets concentrated.
Oh, definitely. And we certainly should not have the stock market dictating what Congress does. The stock market, especially with what's going on in Europe and the way the markets have evolved, it's very short-term focused. That is not a good way to guide our country.
So, Jason, is it going to be something else, like for example, interest rates spiking?
Well, I think at the end of the day, we're going to need to see potentially further downgrades of U.S. credit. We're going to see
then interest rates would spike if that happened.
Right, but we need to see that. We need to be almost on death's doorstep, the way we've seen Italy and Greece finally having that moment where they're going to embrace some level of austerity. It's just not bad enough for people to take it seriously. In the stock market, with the volatility we've seen,
although we are forgetting one thing, which is an election coming up in 2012. That could be a game changer. Guys, thank you very much. Well, no one at Penn State